Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. So today is accuracy test day of the Crosman 1077, and I've been spending some time with this thing attempting to sight it in. There's a review as part of this test, as part of this video as well. So we're not just going to do an accuracy test, we're also going to do the review. When I first got the gun, it couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. Turned out it had an extremely bad crown. We'll talk about that in the review, but I've since done the very best I can do with it, at least without a little bit more tweaking, and I'm thinking I might have to do a few other things to it as well. It's hard to say. Anyway, so let's draw your attention over to the target range here. We are shooting from 10 meters today. So we've got our target way down here. And I'm just going to zoom right in on the target so that you guys can see what's going on as everything happens. And then of course we'll give you a full visual as well, up close with the target. And I think we're steady enough. Yeah, I think so. Alright, so let's shoot this puppy. I just put a fresh bottle in it. Let's see what we can do with this thing. Should be all 12. Yep. So, that is not very impressive, and I was doing my very best to keep it steady. So, what we're going to do next is we're going to move closer to the target. Because, yeah, that's bad. Those strays are bad. It's not as bad as it was, let me tell you. It was really, really severe. So we're going to move the camera, of course, with us. And zoom in. Now I'll go grab our table we were sitting on. And we will also change target. Okay, so this puts us at 1, 2, 5 meters. So we're now at half the distance. Let me just grab my chair. Now we shouldn't have to move this close, but apparently we do. And let's get ourselves a brand new target. I'll show you these when we go in the house and do the main review part. Alright, load our mag in. That's 12 shots. Let's try one more mag, finish off this target. Actually, you know what? Let's change the target. Come to think of it. That's actually much better at that range. Well, it's pretty sad you got to get that up close and personal. Now there's virtually no wind out here, so we can't blame the wind. And I'm keeping it as steady in the bullseye as possible, especially with a makeshift bipod. I'm right on that bullseye. Now that was pretty awesome that time. Even I'm impressed. Okay, so let me see how many mags I got left here, or clips. I got one clip left. So we're gonna change the bottle, go for the last clip. Now I am finding I am getting some fluctuation in speed out of this gun at times, which can be a little annoying, I guess, but it's not much of a fluctuation. Okay, that's ready to go. So that was the first one. This is the last one. Okay, one more target. New target, new bottle of gas, 12 shots. Let's see if we can rule out the bottles as maybe being a bit of an issue too. I am using Crosman CO2 in this gun. Alright. Ah, that was me. I shook it. I think that's it. Yep. All right. That's our last one. Well, let's go in the house and do the main review part of this and talk about this gun. Okay guys, so now we've moved on to the review section of this video for the Crosman 1077 air rifle. So I'm going to show you these targets in order, up close. This was at 10 meters. First target. Second target. A lot better grouping. So at 5 meters shooting, we're doing much, much better. That is good. That also tells me that my scope is actually on. And then of course there's this one with a stray shot, which was me. The number 7 was me going stray with it. I jerked the gun. Either way, I mean, this is definitely the best shot of them all. Okay? So even going an extra 5 meters away, so at the 10 meter range, the gun is not shooting the best for groups. Okay? Now, this is a gun that I have a lot of experience with. I used to have one. My wife bought me one when we first got married, and that was going back about, 16 years ago. So it's been a while, okay? And I put hundreds of thousands of rounds through that gun. Like, not quite 500,000, but getting close. And I rebuilt that gun 4 or 5 different times. The last time I rebuilt it is when I sold it. I actually never should have sold it, because that thing would do pinpoint accuracy even out to 20 yards without even thinking about it. Okay? It was a really great gun. Also, loads of power. Now, this one on the Crony test did really well for the power. It's seeming the more I use it, I'm starting to get a little bit of power fluctuation. Okay? The odd time. But it's just the odd time. That could be the bottles. It could be, well, it's definitely not temperature, because we're like well into like 25 degrees. So we've got lots of heat outside, so the CO2 staying warm. So that's not going to be a problem there. Cold weather, I could understand a lot of fluctuation with CO2 guns, because you generally drop about 100 FPS on average with CO2 guns when it's cold weather. Now this gun, when I bought it, I got it from Home Hardware for $87 clearance. Now, we were kind of suspicious about the amount of tape holding the box shut, because the factory staples, turns out, they were gone into. So they tell us at the store that somebody probably wanted to look at it. It's all the girl knew. She didn't really know anything. But it is also possible that somebody did buy the gun and brought it back because you couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, which you actually couldn't. When I first got the gun, I got to tell you, that thing, it was shooting everywhere. You might get one bullseye, and I tried it with iron sights. I tried it with, different scopes. Didn't make a difference. So, and I know it's not the scopes, and I know it's not me as the shooter, because even with iron sights, I can still shoot iron sights even at 10 meters and still hit the bullseye quite often. And I couldn't even do that with this gun. It was horrifying. So I decided to take a look at the muzzle on it, and it turned out that the muzzle, when they cut the barrel at the factory, because they're cutting sections, on the machines, nobody did a facing cut on the front and then crowned it. So it was never crowned, and it didn't have a face cut. So there was these burrs sticking out of the front of the muzzle, which, I mean, the pellets are obviously going to catch on, which is going to throw you here, 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 bing, bing, bing. You might hit the target a couple of times. Everything else is going off into the bush. So I'd taken the gun apart because, they said no returns, no warranty with it, because it was clearance. They weren't going to honor anything. So I thought, well, okay, whatever. Now, I could have sent it to Crosman for a warranty in Canada. We have a Quebec outfit that deals with it, but I don't want my gun gone for the next 5 months before they get to it. And who knows if they're even doing anything because of what's actually going on in the world right now. So it's kind of like, it's enough I had to send my Sig Sauer out to get it replaced. And I don't know when I'm ever going to see that thing again. But it's not a major deal breaker for me. Eventually it'll come back. But this is a gun I wanted to have some fun with this summer. So anyways, I took the barrel shrouding off, because that outside barrel part is nothing but a shroud. The inside main barrel itself is what's called a straw barrel. Okay, now for those of you who mod pellet guns like myself, you'll know what a straw barrel is. Basically, it's the length of the barrel, and it's like a little skinny tube like a straw, and it hides inside that outside shroud. So I was able to take the shroud off without taking the receiver apart and put it onto my 5-inch bench sander, flatten the face out, and I was able to recrown it, which is what got us these results. Now, what I'm suspecting is going on with the 10-meter range here, of why we're getting so many scattered shots, is the barrel is actually spinning loose inside as it's being shot, because these barrels are not strapped down. Now, an absolutely perfect crown, regardless of the barrel being able to slightly turn and twist as a shot is fired, would keep your accuracy extremely tight. Okay, you would be able to get the results we did at the very last target. You'd still be able to get results like this, right? Now, we can get these results at 5 meters. We cannot get these same results at 10 meters. I've tried. Trust me, I've put a lot of gas and pellets through that gun in the last couple days. So, anyways, at least at 5 meters, we know we're okay. I do not want a 5-meter gun. So I'm going to work on the barrel a little bit more to see if I can get that crown a little bit closer to being perfect, we'll say. And hoping I don't have to shave too much more off the front, because I'm running out of front and barrel room, because the front of the barrel only sits in the front sight, and there's not a lot of distance there, but there's a little bit left for play, but I gotta watch the play. So hopefully I can tighten up the crown a little bit more, because I would like to get that thing shooting nice and accurate at 10 meters, okay? Like I said, I've had one of these guns before. I put hundreds of thousands of rounds through them. So, and I know even that gun was dead accurate. I could do this without thinking twice. Even at 10, 20 yards, not a big deal. So, I've also been reading some online reviews, Canadian Tire's website, of course, because they also carry the gun. On sale right now, by the way, for $111, but be careful that you may or may not get a lemon. It can happen. I did actually go out and buy another 1077 from Canadian Tire. I actually had to go to Sturgeon Falls to get it, so that's an hour out of my way. And I had to return it this morning, because that thing, you pull the trigger and it'd be like, okay, what's going on here? Try and remove the clip. Nope, it got jammed, so you had to undo the jam. Okay, put it back in, pull the trigger. Next time it might fire. The next time it might fire again, or you might be able to watch the pellet drop 2 feet in front of you, 5 feet in front of you. It had some major issues. I mean, it was bad. Mine at least has got some horsepower behind it every shot. Even though I'm seeing a little deviation fluctuation, but this thing was pathetic. Beautiful barrel on it though, great crown, but the gun wouldn't even really shoot. So I'm not sure if Crosman's having a bad run or not in the last little while. Now, the one I bought from Sturgeon Falls, that was the shooter's kit. So it came with 4 clips, and of course your mag, and of course it came with a set of shooting glasses. The one I bought from Home Hardware came just as you saw it on the unboxing video. Just the gun, 1 mag, 1 clip. That's it. That's all you got. So anyway, not overly impressed with this gun anymore. Now, if you can get a good one, great. If you're going to get frustrated and have to turn in more than 2 of them in a row within, a couple of weeks, then I would probably say stay away from it for now. Or send it in for repair direct to Crosman, one of the two. They've got to come good for this. But you would think that 2 locations this far apart, one's a shooter's kit, one's not a shooter's kit, and we still got 2 different kind of lemons going on here, but nonetheless we got a lemon. The other problem I have with mine is the CO2 screw-in. I have to actually lift it up, well, basically turn it in about 3 threads, give it a jiggle, and hope I get it right, and then I can thread it in and ignite my bottle. So it's got a sticky spot in there, so I don't know what's going on with that. It's definitely not the unit itself, because the threads are perfectly fine. They thread up right. There's no slack in the threads. So that was all done right. It's something with the bottle when it's sitting into the valve, or it could very well be the shaft on this piece. And I've got no way to spin this thing up to see if it wobbles or not, so I don't know if it's that part or not. But I can live with that little quirk. The accuracy I can't live with. I got to get that accuracy tighter at 10 meters, which means I got to go back and recrown again and redo it, and hopefully I get it even better the next time around. So I'm going to try anyways. If I succeed, you guys will know about it. If I don't succeed, well, you probably won't know about it because it'll be sitting in the corner while I await brand new parts that I'm going to actually order in from the States. So anyhow, where do I stand with this gun? Well, 16 years ago, I would have highly recommended it, and I would have given it a 4 3/4. This time of the century, decade and a half later, basically, I'm gonna probably say this thing gets about a 3 out of 5 tops, with a stress on if you can get a good one, good. If you get a bad one, well, that sucks. Okay, now, on general, you should be able to fire off approximately 100,000 rounds through that gun before you should need to rebuild the valve. Okay, now, these are repairable. You can do it. It's been done. I've done it myself. It is a little tricky to get the side cover off because there's a little flapper piece in there on a little tiny shaft with a little micro spring, and you got to make sure of the exact orientation of all of it, because if you get it wrong, the hammer is not going to work right. Okay, and for some reason that has to be there, because if it's not, you're going to have other things to deal with. And I've been there and done that. I know. I tried leaving it out once myself, and it's just not cool. So it has to be there. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward. Once you get it apart, putting things back together, it's not that bad. So, you know, you can take some assurance there. It's not that hard of a gun to work on. But we have some unacceptables, definitely, either way with these targets. It's back to the drawing board on the crown. But at least I did create a huge, huge improvement. Because even our first shots that we took there, that spread actually is not bad. It's a lot tighter because it was like literally everywhere, you know, into the bushes and the odd shot on the target. It was that bad. I kid you not. I do not exaggerate this whatsoever. It was that bad. Now, as far as value goes, I mean, I paid $87 as a clearance thing. I thought that was a fair deal. But it would have been better if the gun would have been not having to be taken apart and fixed. But the gun does sell for anywhere between $119 to $140 new, pretty much anywhere in Canada. Right now, $111 at Canadian Tire this week. Normally $140. Now, it is worth the $140 if you get a good one. If you do not get a good one, then you can take it back to Canadian Tire. They will exchange you with a new gun, or they will refund you within 7 days only, is what we found out at Sturgeon Falls when we took it back, because a gun that's within 7 days can be returned for a full refund. After 7 days, it is exchange in-store only for up to a year, depending on the gun. Not all guns will qualify for that, okay? So, that's the story. That's what I got for you. Hope you enjoyed the video and the information on this review. I've never done a review on this gun before, but I have also included in this one my original one from my experiences with it. And I do kind of regret now getting rid of it, because that thing actually was probably the most accurate gun out there from Crosman for that type of a gun. You know, it really was that good. So, anyways, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching, and do stay tuned. We got more gun stuff coming, guys. All right, see ya.